The mirror missed her today. It held no breath, no pause in the glass where her perfume once lingered. She used to tilt her chin like a movie star, lipstick steady, eyes unreadable. Now the sink stays dry and the dust grows brave on her half-used powder tin. I watched her reflection more than her body, and even now I still can't tell what she saw that I couldn't fix. The mirror missed her today, called out in silence and fog, and I swear it flinched when I walked by instead. Her comb still holds 3 strands of gold, curled like question marks at the edge of the drawer. She didn't take her favorite ring, just the hush in her heels, and a memory I keep in the back of my throat when the sax plays alone. The mirror missed her today, begged for a face, even a shadow, but only I showed up with nothing left to see. She didn't break the glass, she broke the need to The saxophone hums like someone trying not to cry, low, warm, echoing into a room where no one bothers to turn the lights on anymore. Vinyl crackle at glass clinks, then silence.
Trays full of conversations no one had the courage to finish, and that lipstick smudged filter, she stubbed me out with it. She'd light one every time she didn't want to answer. Smoke's easier to kiss than a truth that trembles. Her words came in drags, her silences and puffs in me. I kept breathing it all in, like I deserved to be burned. She flicked her wrist, and that spark meant more than any "I love you." She never said, "Cigarettes don't talk back," but they do remember. They hold every sigh, every maybe, in their slow dying curl. I tried quitting her more than once, but the matches kept calling me. And the couch still smells like what she never apologized for. She left behind a lighter with no gas, a packet with one broken stick, and a heart that rattles like a box of spent apologies. Now I sit in her echo, watching the smoke take shape and vanish. Cigarettes don't talk back, but they leave a stain, one you can't wash out of your breath or your memory. She never said goodbye, just lit one last flame and disappeared into it. A quiet piano solo drifts like smoke under a door, hesitant, slow, and exactly where it hurts. You hear a match strike, then the night falls. It's hanging by the door, still damp from last December, and every thread remembers her. I wore that coat the night she left, not by storm, but by silence. Her perfume clung like a promise she didn't mean to keep. I didn't button it right, too rushed, too wrecked. Now it folds around me like she used to, soft and full of things she never said aloud. There's a loose thread by the wrist, maybe it's the thread that pulled her heart away. My coat still smells like goodbye, rain, regret, and something sweet that only lingers when you're too late. I hung it up, but never forgot it. Sometimes I bury my face in the color, like I'm trying to inhale the past. I wore it to the cafe once. They asked if I was grieving. I lied, Said it was just the weather, but the fabric clings to things I can't unfeel. It's not the cold that shakes me now, it's the echo of her warmth leaving. My coat still smells like goodbye, faint jasmine, touch of rain, and the way her arms folded before the door closed. I could burn it or box it, but even ashes whisper when the fire knew love. The trumpet moans softly, like a wind slipping under the coat's hem. Brassy, distant, but soaked in memory. The vinyl skips once, as if it too hesitated. Side A was scratched, but we danced through it anyway. You left before the last track ever played. It was raining when we first dropped the needle, but your laugh made the static sound like stars. Track 3, you kissed me. Track 5, you almost said forever. By track 8, you were humming without smiling. And by the time we hit 10, I knew your fingers weren't mine anymore. Record 11 sat on the spindle waiting, but your coat was already gone. So was your gaze. You left me on record 11, where the music holds its breath. A love paused, never played, a melody that still aches to begin. I never flipped the record, never dared. I keep it there, frozen in the soft hum of almost. The sleeve still smells like your perfume, spilled wine and wilted roses. I dust it every Sunday, like it's holy, like it might one day play itself and explain why your voice was fading long before the silence. You left me on record 11, needle shaking, groove unbroken, but the song it never dared start without you. Sometimes I imagine what it sounds like. Track 11, your goodbye maybe pressed in wax and waiting to forgive me. A slow saxophone whispers over vinyl hiss, carrying a note that almost resolves, but ends exactly where she stopped.
lights were low, the chairs were empty, but the jazz kept playing, hoping she'd still walk in. She was always late, but worth the waiting. The kind of woman who made the silence lean forward. She'd arrive in red, but leave in gray, and the band would watch her like she wrote the next note. The piano tuned itself to her sigh, and the trumpet held its breath. But that night, she never came. Only her song did without her voice. The jazz waited too long. The night bent backwards, but the door stayed closed. And we all played softer, like not to scare off memory. The bartender poured one for her anyway. Same table, same glass. No lipstick this time, just dust in the rim. The drummer tapped like a ticking heart. Even the mic leaned toward the doorway, begging the air to speak her name. I sang like she was still watching, like the melody might pull her back from whatever silence she chose. The jazz waited too long. Now it haunts the room it used to warm. Even the notes sound tired, like ghosts with good posture. Maybe she moved on, maybe the night lost her, but the stage still listens for her heels. Like candle wax over a silent club floor. Each key falls softer than her last glance. Somewhere in the silence, she's almost still here. The piano drips like candle wax over a silent club floor. Each key falls softer than her last glance. Somewhere in the silence, she's almost still here. She didn't slam the door, she just picked up her coat and let the chorus collapse behind her. There were 2 verses left when she stood up. No goodbye, no curtain call, just the soft shuffle of regret in high heels. The spotlight caught the side of her face, not enough to stop her, but enough to burn it in. The sax froze mid-breath. The glass in her hand stayed half full like me.
like every note we never resolved. She closed the bar before the song ended, turned off the lights before the last line, and I kept singing to chairs that didn't clap. On the microphone, I can't clean it. It hums her name when I breathe too close. The bartender asked if she was coming back. I laughed, like maybe I'd get used to empty doors. She left the jukebox paused on our track, just 2 seconds shy of her favorite word. She closed the bar before the song ended, left the pianist waiting for a key that no longer fits, and the trumpet held a note with no one left. I kept singing. The echo stayed longer than she did, and even that's starting to fade. Exhales through a hallway of echoes, searching every empty booth for her silhouette. A single bar stool turns slightly, nothing sits in it but memory. Wind plays with it sometimes, like it still belongs to someone who danced too close to goodbye. It's faded now, the tie you left draped on that rusting balcony rail. Was it carelessness or a quiet confession you didn't know how to make? It sways like your promises did, half tangled, sun bleached, a thread of you I can't bring inside. Neighbors ask if it's art, I say it's a memory that never learned how to untie itself. Your tie still hung on the balcony like a question. I stopped trying to answer, but the breeze remembers what I can't forget. Some nights I sit by the window just to watch it move. It dances better than we ever did, free, uncertain, still tethered to where you left it. The sky turns lilac, and I imagine you looking up from some distant street, wondering why the wind feels familiar. Your tie still hung on the balcony, and I still breathe, as if it matters, because letting it fall feels too much like letting go. I never wore it, but somehow it still chokes me. before it fades, a single note unties itself.
The dress zipped like a whisper, the mirror sighed approval, and I stepped into the night like a song no one asked for. I knew you'd be there, knew you'd bring her, that smile made for dim rooms and slow betrayal. So I wore red, not for love, but for memory, the kind that stains, the kind that turns heads, just long enough to say I'm still here, even if it breaks me to be seen. I wore red just to be remembered, just to haunt your eyes, the way your silence haunted mine. Not to win, just not to vanish. The bar lights caught the hem, and suddenly I was the jazz, all eyes, all ache. You didn't flinch, but she did. Good, let her feel what shadows taste like when they try to kiss a memory. The pianist played a minor chord, and I almost smiled, because even the music knew what this was. I wore red just to be remembered, not to rewind, not to rewind, but to remind that I am not the one who forgot. You looked once, that's all I needed. One look, and I was legend. The piano walks slowly through velvet smoke, each key a footstep fading on a scarlet carpet. The dress twirls once in memory, then disappears. It still plays like you're listening, still waits for your cue at the end of every bar. Your coffee cups cold but untouched, your stool by the piano sits too straight. And when I sit to play, my fingers forget you're not there to echo them. You always hummed on the offbeat, like you wanted the song to fall apart gently.
keys don't know it's different now. They don't feel how the room lost its rhythm. The piano doesn't know you're gone. It still leans into your silence, still expects your voice to slide in before the last note fades. You said music remembers better than people. Maybe that's why it won't forget you. I tried to skip the songs you loved, but they wait for me in the cracks between chords. Every low note sounds like your laugh underwater. Every high one, your goodbye in disguise. I rest my hands, but the piano plays on, whispering you through wood and ivory. The piano doesn't know you're gone. It still opens its arms like you'll walk in and make it whole again. But all it gets is me. Maybe if I don't tell it, you'll come back just to keep the lie alive. A lone trumpet threads through empty keys, searching for a harmony that forgot its name. The piano waits, still faithful, still blind. He never spoke that night, but his footsteps knew every line I didn't say. The lights had dimmed low, just enough to blur his edges. He reached for me like someone remembering a promise he never made out loud. No hello, no may I, just the music between us and a silence that held tighter than words ever could. He moved like he'd been waiting for years, and I moved like I'd forgotten what it meant to be seen. He danced without saying a word, but I heard everything. In the way he led, the way he let go, the way he looked away before I did. People watched, but we weren't a performance. We were a question no one could answer. His hand stayed on my back, just long enough to remind me of another hand that never stayed. He didn't smile, didn't ask for my name. he pulled me close, like he knew that sometimes a body remembers before a heart can catch up. He danced without saying a word and left the room softer than he found it. No promise, no past, just a memory I didn't know I needed. Some goodbyes don't require introduction. The saxophone spins in slow circles like feet still moving. After the music stops, no shoe, no spotlight, just the hush. Oh, something that didn't need to stay to be real.
The bartender never asks, he just pours. Same glass, same spot, still waiting. Used to twist the lemon before you sipped, like it made the night a little sharper. You said bitterness felt honest. I never argued, now your glass sweats alone on the bar top, gathering silence instead of laughter. He pours it anyway every Thursday, like you might walk in before the ice melts, still pouring your favorite drink, as if memory orders before the door opens, as if some part of you still tips well and disappears. I sit 2 stools down, like always, far enough not to ask, close enough to hope the jukebox hasn't changed since you danced once and never again. There's a ghost in the sugar jar, and I swear the stir stick shivers when your song plays. The lemon curl spins like a slow goodbye, and I wonder if anyone told the glass you weren't coming back. Still pouring your favorite drink, still setting the napkin straight, still pretending the night knows your name when no one else
with one final faithful note. The bar doesn't close alone. Alone piano drips through amber silence, wrapping the rim of a forgotten glass with one final faithful note. The bar doesn't close it more. It started loud, trumpet laughter, then somewhere in the hook we vanished. You held me like a lyric, swinging between rhyme and risk. We were sharp on time until the tempo changed. The verse was sweet, a dance of fingers and forecasts. But the chorus came and we sang too fast, too bright, and missed the meaning. Suddenly our love was just repetition without resonance. Our love got lost in the chorus, buried in what we thought was the best part. But no one listens when the melody begs too loud. We tried again, different keys, different bars, but the harmony cracked where truth should have rested. You hummed my fears before I knew them, and I whispered promises I couldn't hold in tune. The bridge broke beneath us and the final verse never got written. Our love got lost in the chorus, looping lines that used to feel like forever. But forever's only one more hook away from hollow. Sometimes the loudest songs fade fastest. The trumpet plays it soft this time, like rewriting a memory without the need to be right. The last note doesn't end, it just lets go. It started loud, trumpets, laughter, then somewhere in the hook we vanished. You held me like a lyric, swinging between rhyme and risk. We were sharp on time until the tempo changed. The verse was sweet, a dance of fingers and forecasts. But the chorus came and we sang too fast, too bright, and missed the meaning. Suddenly our love was just repetition without resonance. Our love got lost in the chorus, buried in what we thought was the best part. But no one listens when the melody begs too loud. We tried again, different keys, different bars, but the harmony cracked where truth should have rested. You hummed my fears before I knew them, and I whispered promises I couldn't hold in tune. The bridge broke beneath. Each step was rhythm, each pause a lie. She clicked
across the floor like her heart wasn't breaking. The room watched, but she never blinked. In heels too high for goodbyes, she spun like sorrow dressed in satin. No one clapped, not because she wasn't brilliant, but because we were afraid she'd vanish if we did. She moved like jazz, improvise, haunted, refusing to explain. She tapped her heels like it didn't hurt, like her echoes weren't bleeding. But pain has rhythm too. Her smile held nothing, not even mercy. She kissed the air where his voice used to live, then danced it away in silence. A broken metronome ticked nearby. I think it matched her heart, or maybe it matched mine. She tapped her heels like it didn't hurt, but we knew the truth. Even perfect timing can still be lonely. She bowed without applause, and somehow that was the loudest sound of all. The sax tiptoes across the floorboards, each note a footprint, too proud to ask for comfort. It ends on tiptoe, half gone.
We carved them once with a house key. You said you'd never lose. Corner booth, third from the jukebox. Our names etched under the varnish, crooked letters but steady hearts. We used to laugh here, napkins full of nonsense, hands full of forever. Now it sits as empty as your voicemail. Same table, different silence. The booth still knows our name, still holds the weight of promises and sugar packets, but your half is colder now. I sit alone sometimes, facing the ghost of you. Waiters ask if I'm expecting anyone. I say not anymore, just memory. The wall behind it still creaks when someone leans in. You used to do that just before you told the truth. Your name's still here, though the ink in your eyes isn't.
swipes menus, but not initials. The salt shaker where you used to reach. He said it's soft, like something he didn't want, echoing back. We were slow dancing in a doorway, halfway between rain and regret. He tucked my hair behind the truth and whispered forever like a dare. But his hands trembled like someone writing their final verse. I smiled because lies sound sweet when the night is jazz slick and full of smoke. He said forever, like a fade out, a note sliding down the spine of a goodbye he didn't want to hold. I held him anyway, held him like the end hadn't already begun. We kissed between thunder, paused between beats. He promised again, softer this time, and I nodded like silence was agreement. The street light blinked and he walked backwards into a blur I never chased. He said forever, like a fade out, not loud, not sharp, just long enough to be believed until it wasn't. We don't remember the volume, just the vanishing. The trumpet sighs like a man still trying to mean it. Notes stretch thin, then fall just before they break. He never said much, but he poured truth like someone who tasted it. He wiped the counter like he was erasing names. Same towel, same wristwatch, same silence I carried inside me when I asked if love dies. He blinked slow and slid me a glass with no answer in it, but his eyes
Kisses spill into rage, seen toasts raised to people who never returned. And when I cried into my third drink, he didn't flinch, didn't wipe it away. He just looked like someone who'd once left their heart in the tip jar. I saw myself in how he never asked. The bartender's eyes were mine, same tired flash of maybe, same grip on a glass that never gets lighter. Some mirrors don't need silver, just sorrow. The sax curls around the rim of a low-ball glass, each note stirred slow by a man who's still listening long after you've left. The bed was made too neatly, the window cracked just enough to let regret crawl in. Room 3A always smelled like roses and endings. She checked in on a Wednesday, I remember, because the hallway light flickered twice. She left behind a suitcase of air, an echo in the mirror, and one red thread caught on the doorknob. No note, just the silence that speaks louder than ink. Room 3A had no goodbye note, but everything she didn't write still bruises the sheets. The pillows know her dreams better than I ever did. I knocked after checkout, no answer, but the room smelled of lavender and delay. The curtain swayed like it had just watched her leave. Housekeeping found a teacup with one lipstick crescent and a sugar cube untouched. Even her shadow was careful not to stay. Room 3A had no goodbye note, just drawers that sighed when opened, and a clock set 5 minutes fast, like she couldn't wait to be forgotten. I check the registry sometimes, as if names can forgive. The piano drips slowly across a hallway of shut doors, each note a knock that no one answers. One last chord lingers.
turns the key from inside.
But her eyes weren't there to hear it. The needle dropped like it knew where to land. Third groove in, and I remember the way she'd hum without needing the words. She used to dance in the kitchen in bare feet and secrets. Now the floorboards creak only for dust. I didn't choose the song, it chose me. And it played like it was looking for someone else. A record spun, but not for me. Its memory turned on someone else's rhythm. I listen anyway, because silence felt crueler. I let it play to the end, even the scratchy part where she used to laugh and kiss the air like a curtain call. I stood there, hands full of not knowing, watching the label spin like it might offer a reason, but all it gave was the sound of almost wrapped in wax and ache. A record spun, but not for me. Its melody never once looked back, but my heart did over and over till it cracked. She left the player on. Maybe she thought I'd need the noise. The trumpet sings the last bars like it's remembering for both of us. Soft, slow, then gently fading into the needle's final breath.